All right, we're joined here by Timbers head coach Phil Neville. We will go straight into questions. Wants to start us off? Adam?
Two best teams in MLS back-to-back weeks, obviously 1 and 2 in the Supporters Shield. Different players, of course, but how does San Diego look to pressure you and beat you differently than how Cincinnati would?
Yeah, I would say different styles, different systems, but equally as effective in the way that they play. You look at Denki and Evander last week, Dreyer and Lozano this week, equally, in terms of quality, standout DP players in the league in terms of their contributions. And I think it's going to be a really good game. I think the 2 games against San Diego will be massive games for us, both home and away. And we're really looking forward to it. So it's obviously a new franchise team who've done incredibly well in their first season. And they've got something going there. And I think we need to go down there. We need to play at our absolute maximum.
Hi, Coach. In the last game, you rolled out the back 4 again, even though it kind of shifted to a back 5 at times. This week, once again, trying to pick between the back 3 and the back 4 to play in this difficult game. How is the competition for places different depending on which structure you decide to use?
Well, I think there's massive competition for places now. I think with everybody fit, we sometimes can't fit them into the training sessions, never mind onto the bench. I think picking a roster to travel tomorrow, there's going to be 3-4 players left behind, and that's never been the case since I've come to this football club. So that's going to be really difficult because the boys are all competing. We did an 11v11 yesterday, and it was the most competitive 11v11. The trainings have been really tough in terms of the competition between everybody. There is definitely there's a feeling of competition within the building. I think that's really healthy. I don't know. I think sometimes I wake up at night and think, how can I get all the attacking players on the pitch? And that means you could probably only play with probably one central defender, and the rest are just going to go for it. So. We've got to pick a style and not a style. We've got to pick a system and a group of players that complement the way that we want to play. I think what we've shown this year tactically is we've been really fluid between the 3 and the 4. And I think when you look at San Diego, you look at Cincinnati, I think systems are going out of football. I really do. You look at Cincinnati last week as an example. You think they're going to play 5-4-1, 3-4-3, and at times they're a 4, at times they're a 3, or at times they're a 2. And I think systems are now going out of football. It's more principle-based work. The principle in how you want to play, the principle in how you want to defend. That's more important than a system, I feel.
Coach, in terms of putting your strongest 11 on the field with 3 new additions during the window, is there how long do you think it takes for you to figure out, or for your staff to figure out what your best 11 is out on the field?
Well, I think I've spoke to all the 3 new players this week, and there are arguments to you drip feed them in, and then I always go back to, we've only got 8 games left, and there's no drip feeding, there's no waiting, there's no adaptation period, and I say to my staff that there is now no adaptation period for us. We can't use it as an excuse. Every other team have probably got 3 or 4 different players, new players in, and what we've got to do, we believe in our system, and we believe that we can just with the players that we've got, the players that we've profiled, the players that we've invested in, means that they should fit into our profile of team. Now, what do you get? You get to learn more about them when they're in the building. You see them face to face. There are nuances, and there are things that you can't pick up on Y-Scout or in conversations or on scouting. But without a shadow of a doubt, I think the players that we've bought in, all starting 11 players, all ready to go in and play, all want to start the game, and all fit into the way that we want to play. And I think that's why you have a recruitment process, is that you bring players in to fit the style of football that we want to play. And I think the 3 that we brought in do that.
Hey, Coach. Sounds like all 3 guys clear to go.
Are they?
99% is what Ned, I believe, mentioned.
Nice. So out of 3, I thought.
And just the cohesion. How is that going in implementing these guys and knowing that you're trying to peak at the right time, but you know you don't have that kind of time.
Yeah, well, I think what I would say is that Caballo, Matti, and Christopher, they're experienced players. I spoke to Felipe yesterday about a certain aspect of our game, and sometimes when you speak to a young player, you spend time. They ask questions. You then get them up to your office and you show a video. With Felipe, there's no BS. It's yes, coach, done. That's it. Why? Because he's experienced. He's played at the top level. He knows football. He knows tactics. He knows what we want. And I think that's the level of player that we brought in. We brought in a level of player that you don't need to tell them to tuck in or to go wide or to roll out or to receive the ball in the half turn in certain. They get football. They see space. They understand football. They've got good in-game intelligence. And that's what I feel we've brought in. I spoke to Mateus Rocas on the phone for, you set up a Zoom for an hour, and after 2 minutes, the call was dead. The call was done. He knew exactly how we wanted him to play. We knew exactly what we wanted from him. And that comes with experience. And so that means that I'm quietly confident that when they go into the team, they're going to be ready to play.
From one Uruguayan to another, I noticed Jonathan Rodríguez coming into the facility today. He's easing his way off of the crutches. Just how has his recovery from that season-ending injury been so far?
He's doing phenomenal. We had a catch-up with the medical people, and like I say, it was quite a complicated surgery. One that not been done that many times, and I'd say that he is well ahead of schedule. He's doing phenomenally well for where he's at this moment in time. The road is still long, but I think what you see, once you start losing the crutches, that's one step done. That's probably the worst step, the crutches, because it hinders. We were at a family barbecue on Sunday, and it hinders how he is with his children and his family and his life. You're now seeing him coming in every day, where now he can start swimming and maybe on a bicycle, and all of a sudden you just start chalking off the days. And we're giving him the best possible care. But what I would say is he's been an incredible professional, and I think I think he's doing really well.
Profe, español.
No, not today.
Not today. Con la llegada de Rojas, ya son 3 nuevos jugadores que integran al equipo. Hay más posibilidades, podría decirse, hoy de calificar a los playoffs que antes que no los tenía.
Esos 3 jugadores o los 3 fichajes son más importantes para nosotros, para ayudarnos, para integrar, para ayudarnos, para mejorando nuestro equipo. Tenemos un buen equipo. Tenemos buenos jugadores en las 3 posiciones que Rojas, Caballo y Velde. En la posición de Caballo tenemos 4 centrocampistas buenos en esta liga, entonces es una competición para mejorar el nivel en nuestro equipo. Dije muchas veces en las últimas semanas que esos 3 jugadores son jugadores. Sí, la expectación es para jugamos en todos los partidos, pero para mí es solo para ayudar la competición. En las posiciones para nosotros son más importantes para ayudar, para mejorar. Por ejemplo, Rojas jugará en la derecha como Santi Moreno, pero en el último partido, Ariel Lassiter, para mí fue fenomenal en esa posición. Entonces, tenemos muchos jugadores para competir, para luchar, para una posición en el 11. Para mí, en mi carrera, cuando era un futbolista, siempre tuve este escenario, cuando hay muchos jugadores en el vestuario para luchar para el grupo. El grupo es más importante que un individual. Entonces, si está en el 11, bueno, pero tenemos 10, 11 jugadores como suplentes para entrar, para ayudar, para mejorar un equipo. Entonces, tenemos 8 finales, quedan 8 partidos donde necesitamos todos los partidos, todos los jugadores en este vestuario.
Okay, we have time for 2 more in the room. We'll go Fletcher and then Adam.
I think you might have answered some of mine in Spanish there from a little bit I could pick up. But what in your mind is the most that these 3 new acquisitions can provide in terms of their experience? Because so much has been talked about with the youth of this team and how young they are. What's the most these guys can
Well, I think what experience gives you is in the moments that are difficult, you have been there before and you've done it. And what happens is you bring a little bit of calmness. 20 minutes to go, 2-0 down, 3-0 down, or a corner kick, or even just during the week in training, leading up to eight games to go, players that have, a player that we brought in went to an MLS Cup finals, been there and done it, been in a playoff game, played in hostile environments, just won MLS Cups, whatever it is, they bring an experience of how to handle, and it's sometimes, most of the time, disappointments. I think my second season at Inter Miami, we went to Chicago with 7 games to go, and we were outside the playoff, and we lost the game 3-1. And we were in the dressing room after the game, and there was a lot of emotion from down, from up, wherever. And I remember clearly from my experience as a player, in these stages, it's not the result, it's how you handle the result. And I remember we then won the next 5 and got in the playoffs. Why? Because we didn't get emotional. Why? Because we lost, we won the next game. And I think that's what I'm hoping that these players bring alongside their quality. Alongside their quality, we're getting a DP midfield player, DP winger. That is something that we've been missing all season. You look at the teams that are in that top 4 or 5. You'd say that each team has 2 players that have been real standout players. San Diego's a prime example. I think their 2 DP players have had 41 goal contributions. That's why they're top of the league. And I'd say that that's why we've brought in the players that we have.
Phil, I asked Meta Grabavoy about potentially an extension for David Ashala. He was obviously very good last year. You sung his praises, but how has he taken another step up in 2025? And just in general, how important is he to your plans?
He's maturing. He's matured a lot. I'd say I've been really complimentary of him in the last 6 to 8 months. I'd say that in the last 3 to 4 games, he's been probably a little bit inconsistent in some of the things that he's been doing, and we've been speaking to him about that. But I go back to what we spoke about with, say, for instance, Diego Chara or Caballo, is that when you get to the 20th, we say miles in a marathon, it's called the brick wall. It's called the brick wall, and it's how you handle that brick wall that gets you through to the last 6 miles of the marathon. And now we're in the last 6 miles of the marathon, and what you need is that when you get to that 20-mile marker, you lose a lot of people. And what I said to David Ayala this week is that now is the biggest growth he has to take, is that he can't win every game on his own. Every pass that he makes can't be the best pass in the world. He's just got to now play with the maturity of a Diego Chara, a Caballo. And it's about consistency now, not brilliance. Your actual brilliance, your genius now is actually in your simplicity. They say, what is it? Simplicity is genius. Now is the time for everybody to be simple. Do the simple things, do the basic things. Absolutely fantastic. And I would say that my biggest learning from my football career is that when I played with or against the best, that everybody asked me, what did they do different than everybody else? They did the basics better than everybody else. And that's what we need to do. And that's what David needs to do now, because he's a top player.